Gyrfalcon is back after a brief hiatus and it's better than ever. This gives hunters a massive damage boost after being invisible, so today I'm going to take you through a Hunter Void 3.0 build with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. I'm going to walk you through the Void 3.0 setup, the weapons and the mods, so you can become that invisible assassin and burn through endgame content to get that top tier loot. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell, and roughly 98% of viewers who watch this week in video games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Without further delay, let's dive right into this build. So first of all, we have the Void 3.0 setup. For my super, I'm using Mobius Quiver. For my class ability, I'm using Gambler's Dodge. My melee, I'm using Snare Bomb, and my grenade, I'm using an Axiom Bolt. Next up, the aspects, I'm using Vanishing Step, so dodging makes you invisible, and then Stylus Executioner, so defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and also True Sight, and after performing a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. Next up, looking at the fragments, so Echo of Persistence, void buffs applied to you, that's invisibility in this case, have an increased duration. Echo of Obscurity, so finisher final blows grant invisibility. Echo of Undermining, your void grenades weaken targets. And Echo of Instability, defeating targets with grenades grant volatile rounds to your void weapons. Next up then, the exotic armor, so this is Gyrfalcon's Hauberk. So for this build, I'm going to be using the Gyrfalcons, and it comes with the perk See Me, Feel Me. So See Me, Feel Me says your weapons gain a bonus to damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible. When you are invisible and you defeat a combatant using a finisher, you and your nearby allies gain a reserve overshield and improve class ability regeneration. These reserve overshields can be deployed using a class ability. Well, you can get this Hunter chest piece from Legend or Master Lost Sectors if you complete it solo when it's Exotic Chest Day. Well, next up, let's have a look at the weapons. So there's a couple of options here for the build, and it depends on what activity you're going to be taking part in. First combination is Hung Jury and Collective Obligation, together with the Taipan 4 FR. This one is a good combination for Unstoppable and Barrier champions this season. If you're going into an activity that doesn't have champions, then I would recommend Rat King and Aisha's Embrace, as well as that Taipan 4 FR. Rat King works really well natively with the exotic perk on the Gyrfalcon. Well, let's have a look at those weapons in a little bit more detail. So first of all, in the kinetic slot, and first Hung Jury. So Hung Jury SR4 is a legendary kinetic scout rifle. This one is a precision frame, meaning the weapon's recoil pattern is much more predictably vertical. PvE, Rapid Hit and Firefly is a decent roll. Also, surplus explosive payload. That is very good too. Hung Jury actually isn't available in the game at the moment, but it can be swapped out for any kinetic scout rifle. As an alternative to Hung Jury, I would recommend Rat King. That's another good one for the kinetic slot. This one is an exotic. So this one comes with the perks Rat Pack. This fully automatic weapon becomes stronger when nearby allies also have it equipped. Stacks up to 6 times. Then you've got Vermin, so this is the perk I'm interested in. So reloading immediately after a kill grants a brief period of invisibility. Next up in the energy slot, so Collective Obligation or Aisha's Embrace. First up, Collective Obligation. It's an exotic energy pulse rifle. Comes with the perks Void Leech. So the weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened or volatile. Once charged, swap firing modes, and in this mode, damage from the weapon applies the same void debuffs that were leeched. Then you've got Umbral Sustenance, so the weapon's magazine is automatically reloaded when you gain Devour, avoid Overshield, or become invisible. That last point there is going to be really useful, considering we're going to be invisible quite a lot. We can get this one from the Vow of the Disciple raid as a random drop from the final boss. Then next up, we got the alternative to that, so it's Aisha's Embrace, a legendary energy void scout rifle with a rapid fire frame, meaning this one fires full auto with deeper ammo reserves. You get a faster reload when the magazine is empty. And for PvE, Arrowhead Break, High Caliber Rounds, Triple Tap and Vorpal Weapon. I reckon that is probably the best roll you can get your hands on. In the power slot, we got the Taipan 4 FR. So it's a legendary power linear fusion rifle with a precision frame, meaning the weapon fires a long-range precision energy bolt. The weapon's recoil pattern is much more predictably vertical. This one comes with the origin trait Vice Stinger, so damaging an enemy with the weapon has a small chance to reload the magazine and increase movement speed while you are aiming down sights. Next up, let's have a look at the mods. So I'm going to be focusing on grenades here. So Elemental Ordnance, defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. Ashes to Assets, so grenade kills grant you super energy. Bountiful Wells, elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells now stack, spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. Finally, Font of Might, so picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. Well, next up, let's have a look at the gameplay. So this build is all about taking advantage of coming out of invisibility and getting that damage boost. First of all, the main reason for this is the perk on the Gyrfalcon, See Me, Feel Me, so your weapons gain a bonus to damage briefly after you emerge from being invisible. Therefore, you want to be going invisible as much as possible. Our Void 3.0 setup is going to help out with this. So first of all, Vanishing Step, that is one of our aspects. Dodging makes you invisible, so make sure you have your class ability up as often as possible. And also, Stylish Executioner, defeating a weakened, suppressed or volatile target grants invisibility and True Sight. Echo of Obscurity also works well, working hand in hand with the Gyrfalcon, so Finisher, Final Blows grant invisibility. I'm also going to be using grenades here to boost damage output alongside the Gyrfalcon perk through Elemental Wells. So the combination of Elemental Ordnance and Bountiful Wells is going to create a ton of Elemental Wells when you throw a grenade and kill your enemies. When you pick that up, that grants Font of Might, meaning a 20% damage increase. And then next up, looking at the weapon choices here, so I've got a couple of choices. First of all, Rat King, and the perk Vermin allows us to go invisible almost at will. As reloading immediately after a kill grants a brief period of invisibility. And if you're using Collective Obligation, then you're going to be taking advantage of Void Leech, where the weapon leeches void debuffs when damaging targets that are suppressed, weakened, or volatile. Personally, I think Rat King is the most fun, but given we don't have champion sidearm mods this season, you may want to pick something that caters to unstoppable and barrier champions. For me, this has been a pulse rifle and a scout rifle combination that allows you to keep your distance while you're in endgame combat. We do have the option of a shotgun too, but I'm going to leave it up to you. Rat King is definitely the most fun weapon here, and works perfectly with the perk on Gyrfalcon. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and share any improvements you have with the community. Well, that is it for this Hunter Void 3.0 build with Gyrfalcon's Hauberk in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.